G'day everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video we want to share with you our top 5 tips and tools that we use to manage and monitor the health of our trees. Our 7-acre farm is located on the Cassowary coast in the wet tropics of far north Queensland, Australia, where the rainforest meets the reef. We grow commercial crops of tropical fruit, jackfruit and canistel, and also use our spare land to fulfill our dream of becoming more self-sufficient. In our weekly videos, we share with you our slice of paradise and our life on the farm.
So tip number 1.
We use our eyes and our boots. It's really important to regularly take a walk around your garden or your farm and have a look at what's happening with your trees and your plants. So take a good look at your plants and trees to see if there are any issues with them or any deficiencies that you can see. So having a look at the leaves, are they green and healthy? Or can you see any signs of yellowing or patches? Is there any wilting? What do your branches look like? Is there any signs of diseases on the branches? Any dieback? And can you see any pests on your trees? Remembering that there are good pests and bad pests.
Pests will quite often be on the underneath of a leaf where they're sheltered somewhat.
Now bear in mind that these can often be late signs of issues, so the best thing that you can do is to maintain a healthy tree in the first place. Because, like we all know, prevention is better than cure.
A little bit of a sugar boost.
Now tip number 2. And a tool that we use quite regularly on the farm to assess the health of our trees is a pH soil tester.
We now use this electronic one, which gives a more accurate guide to the pH, or you can use this type of soil tester which gives you the range but not quite as accurate. And you're aiming to maintain the pH at the right levels for your particular crop, because the pH levels affect the mobility of all your various nutrients and the ability for the trees to take them up and for the soil to release them.
You can find lots of information on the internet about what pH levels are required for different types of plants and crops, including some handy printable reference charts.
Tip number 3 is to use a Brix refractometer to assess your tree health. So the refractometer measures the level of sugar within a sample through refraction. The higher the amount of dissolved sugar, the higher the refractive index will be. So before you start using your refractometer, you first need to calibrate it. This is done using distilled water by placing a few drops of the water onto the plate, close the lid, and then adjust the calibration screw so that the refractometer reads exactly 0 when you look through the lens. Once you've calibrated your refractometer, you're then ready to use it. So what you want to do is again apply 2 to 3 drops of the liquid that you want to test onto the plate, close the lid and give it a few taps to make sure that there's no air bubbles and that you've distributed the liquid evenly across the plate. You will then look through the lens in a good light source, preferably the sun. Not so good on a day like today, but when you look through the lens using a light source on the plate, you'll be able to get your reading, and this is what it should look like. So bricks meters like this one can be purchased quite easily from companies or even from Amazon or eBay, and they're quite affordable. I would recommend that you also get a garlic press if you haven't already got one, because that comes in handy for being able to squeeze the liquid from your piece of fruit, vegetable or leaf matter onto the plate. Brix refractometers are often used to measure the content of sugar in food and drink. But Brix measurements taken from the leaves of plants and trees can also be a reliable indicator of plant health, nutrient status, and susceptibility to pests. So this handy tool is useful for anyone looking to improve the health of their plants or trees. And whilst we don't have time in this video to explain the many ways in which this can be done, we will be doing a follow-up video deep diving into the use of this fantastic piece of equipment.
And tip number 4 is soil analysis and leaf analysis. And for us on a commercial scale, we have our soil and leaf analysis done every year. They give you a very specific, accurate record of your nutrients that are in your soil and whether the tree is taking up those nutrients. It gives you a breakdown of how much carbon you have in your soil, what's referred to as a cat exchange. It's really, really accurate and extremely beneficial in terms of if your tree is actually working correctly with the soil. It's a lot more expensive, so maybe not suitable for small backyard growers, but using the pH and the refractometer combined, they will give you quite a bit of information that you can use in terms of fertilizing and looking after your trees.
So tip number 5 is physically maintaining your trees. That can be by the way of pruning them, which allows good light interception and therefore encourages flowering and fruiting. And it also opens up the tree and allows better ventilation and airflow, which ultimately can reduce your risk of pests and diseases.
And another important part of that is once you've done all your pruning, we chip down everything to create the mulch. This protects the soil from drying out during dry periods. It protects the soil from erosion during the heavy wet periods that we have. It builds carbon, it builds organic matter, it helps to hold on to nutrients, and it encourages all your animal life, your worms and everything, which all go towards breaking down fertilizers, making them mobile from soil to the tree.
So we hope that you found these tips helpful, and now you can start applying some of them in your garden to improve the health of your plants and trees. And don't forget, if you enjoyed watching this video, we would really appreciate it if you could give it a big thumbs up.
Yep.
It would really help to grow our channel. Thanks everyone. Bye.
Thanks for watching. Bye bye.